Statistical mathematical fact
never has been down.
has broken every single record. There is no asset that has come close.
It's the only thing in the industry that was not touched, that was not hacked, and it never fails doing what it promised in 2009. It's never
What's
failed.
the best performing asset the world has ever seen? And you'll find out that it's Bitcoin.
Boom. Boom. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another surprise live session with Oliver Velez, of course. My name is Oliver Velez, and today we're going to talk once again about one of our favorite topics, if not our absolute favorite topic, which is Bitcoin. All right. So come on in, guys. Make yourselves comfortable. I appreciate every single one of you showing up here. I am not afforded the opportunity to give a lot of advance notice for these because they are somewhat random, and I fit these live sessions in whenever I can. And so I appreciate everyone who can show up so spontaneously. But of course, every single live session that I do does become a permanent footprint out there on the various mediums. So you'll always be able to take in the content, even if you're unable to attend one of my live sessions. And of course, you'll have the opportunity to watch certain sections or all of the live sessions again, which I know a number of you actually do, to make sure that you get all the concepts that we cover in. So anyway, guys, come on in, make yourselves comfortable. I like to sort of banter before we delve into the topic at hand, just to allow a couple of hundred people to get logged in at first. This is being broadcast live over my Bitcoin YouTube channel, as well as my x.com live channel. And I know we're drawing sort of an international audience here. So before we get started, just let me know where you're coming in from. Got 129 people logged in so far. Hopefully that gets up to about 200 or 300, and then we can begin. But where are you coming in from? What corner of the planet are you coming in from? What country? What city? What state in the U.S.? What county? Talk to me. All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Emmanuel, welcome. PJR, welcome. Mark, awesome. Yes, Miami, Florida is in the house. Canada, you're unable to see what I'm seeing, guys. I'm reading your comments here. Canada is in the house. Portugal is in the house. Naples, Florida is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Big ups to Texas. All right. The ATL is in the house. Atlanta is in the house. Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Up to 180 people so far. So getting there. San Diego, California. Welcome. Louisiana. Welcome. Fantastic. International audience here. Always drinking some tea here, guys. Welcome, Germany. All right. Welcome. All right, guys, for anyone who is sort of joining us live for the very first time, I get this question every single time I do live with sunshades on. Guys, I have very sensitive eyes. It comes from decades of trading and staring at screens. I get very severe migraine headaches when I'm exposed to bright lighting for an extended period of time. So I often, when I don't want to have to deal with migraines and I'm going to be exposed to lighting, there's lighting directly in my face here to make the image as clear as possible for you. I just sort of dim it with sunglasses. So that's where that comes from. Sometimes I am able to do it and get by without the sunglasses, but this is not one of those days. All right. So bear with me with that. All right. All right, guys, look, okay, so 237 people. I think that we can sort of get started here. Now, I believe, as you know, the topic I wanted to talk about today is speed. Now, this was somewhat accentuated today by someone's comment referring to the speed of Bitcoin's transactions on its time chain. And this has been a constant This has been a constant theme amongst individuals who do not realize that time, as it relates to most things in life, are actually overrated. So there are a lot of people who use time as a comparative metric to determine which time chain in the crypto or cryptocurrency space is better, which one's faster. And this, I think, is an extraordinarily big mistake. And it stems from this notion that whatever is faster is actually better. And this could not be further from the truth. In fact, in most cases, throughout all areas of life, whatever is faster is actually weaker, more ineffective, more unstable, more unsecure. And so speed throughout all areas of life, when it is obtained, comes at major trade-offs. So this is what I want to talk to you about today. All right. So that we can get this straight. Thanks, Mark. That's very true. Sunglasses are needed for that. Minimize eye strain. Absolutely. Now, so let's talk about this. Before we actually delve into the specific topic of speed, I think it's important to understand that speed has a very deep relationship with time. Okay. Speed and time are actually inextricably intertwined. In many respects, speed and time can be regarded as the same thing. Time and space are actually at higher. Time and space can also be viewed as synonymous or the same thing. And while this might seem a little esoteric, it's important for us to lay the groundwork this way, right? So speed is almost or practically the same thing as time, or they're inextricably intertwined if they're not the same thing. So let's talk about what time is. The first thing I will say about time, guys, is that time is a man-made construct. Time really does not exist in the universe. Looked at from a very high level, time is something that it's a concept that we apply on top of reality. It doesn't exist. Here's how. What we call time is literally the space or the distance between two things or two events. All right. So time comes into existence whenever we regard the space or distance between two things. So let me give you an example. Monday to the next Monday, the space between two Mondays creates 7 days of time. If we take the two Mondays away, time doesn't exist. We need two things to bring time into existence. This is a very, very high level view of the universe, but it is absolutely true that without two things, there is no time. Remove the two things and you just have one eternal what? Now. Now isn't a part of the time concept. Okay? So time is actually brought into existence by having two things. Okay? And measuring the space between the two things. Okay? I am sad at this moment. Now I am not sad. I was sad for 2 days. After 2 days, I stopped being sad. We have two things measuring 2 days in between two states. Sadness, no sadness. Measurement between, time is created. So time is a man-made concept. Okay? This is important to understand to lay the groundwork for our talk about speed. What we call speed is really just a smaller space between the two things. So, for instance, Monday to Monday is 7 days of time, 2 Mondays. Monday to Tuesday is 1 day of time. So, this time, the time from Monday to Tuesday is faster than the time from Monday to the next Monday. Okay? Very basic. All right. So this is why they're inextricably intertwined. We're just talking about different spaces between two things or different frequencies between two things. That's all. That's time, whether it's small in nature or larger in nature. So this is why time, speed, and time are inextricably intertwined. You have to understand what time is, right? And how time is a man-made construct before we can actually delve into the concept of speed. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, speed is, which is often used as a comparative metric, especially in the crypto space, or what I call the crapto space, cryptocurrencies. All right. This is not only overrated, it can actually be detrimental. You see, I understand where this concept comes from, that the faster something is, the bigger. It's because innate in the human spirit, for whatever reason, we as a human species, we've always tended to press for speed, press for things to happen faster. In almost all of our human endeavors, we have pressed for this. And while that's not natively wrong, the press for speed is not natively wrong or a bad thing. It just can be taken too far. And I, for one, believe that in today's society, we are accentuating speed at great cost. You can take anything good in life too far. My dad used to say, Oliver, think, son, think, son. And that's not natively bad, but thought can be taken too far. You see, a lunatic or a crazy man's enemy is his thoughts. And a crazy man or a lunatic has far more thoughts than the sane man does. So the spaces between his thoughts are like this, very, very rapid. Whereas that the more measured, more intelligent, more certain man's thoughts come with wider space between them, more time between each thought, more of a measure. This is where the concept of a measured man comes from. This is a very well measured thought. It didn't come so fast after the prior thought. So we can use that comparison as a way of understanding how too much of something, which really is creating speed, becomes detrimental. Too much of anything becomes detrimental, which means that you have too much speed. Speed comes at a great cost. You understand? Now, I know it sounds esoteric. We're gonna pull this into some very concrete things. You'll understand this. All right. So while speed is not a native thing, it can be taken too far. And I believe in society, we place too great of an importance on speed at the detriment of many, many other things. So what many miss, right, as I mentioned, is that there are great costs when you strive for too much speed. And these costs can start to really be destructive. And in fact, I believe that the benefits for extra speed are very small in comparison to its cost. All right. And I can give you sort of a lot of different examples, especially because I've been in the trading space for 40 plus years. All right. I have been responsible for training thousands upon thousands of traders all over the world over the past 30 years. And I will tell you this, that most traders want mastery in the markets. They want to become master traders overnight. They want fast, rapid mastery. Now, listen, one of the reasons why this is not possible is because mastery is on the other side of experience. Now, listen to me carefully. Try to get this. Try to take this in. These traders that come to me to be trained, institutional traders, even regular retail traders, they want mastery very quickly. And the first thing I'm going to tell them is that this is impossible. If you're looking for quick, rapid mastery here, it's not going to happen. Go somewhere else. All right. And the reason is because the main reason I tell them this is impossible is because mastery of anything, trading is no exception, is on the other side of experience. I want you to write that down if you can. Mastery is on the other side of experience. It is not in front of experience. Any type of success before you become experienced at something, we have a word for that. It's called luck. And we're not talking about being lucky. We're talking about being good. We're talking about genuinely being a master. And you can't genuinely be good at anything. You can't genuinely master anything until you first become experienced. The kid who kicks a soccer ball, a football, the very first time in his life is horrible. To become a master requires experience kicking that ball millions of times, under the right guidance in most cases, under the right training, and only after a certain block of experience, a lot of it, can there be a possibility of skill and mastery. Skill and mastery can't come before experience. Number one. Number two, experience requires time. What do we say time is? The measurement between many things. The measurement between many events, many different occurrences, many different things. You need a lot of experience before mastery is possible. This experience requires time, and time in this regard cannot be rushed. And so when you're attempting to get something really fast, what you're really saying is that I want to violate the laws of experience. There are people that come to me that believe that they can purchase their mastery, that they can sidestep or somehow cheat this law, that mastery comes after experience, not before it. They think that because they pay for something, that they no longer require time, that they pay for speed, and speed in their mind is cheating the laws of experience, cheating the laws of time. And this always leads to very, very bad consequences when you disrespect this law. We have taken speed too far. We can go into other areas of life. Look at all the examples of someone getting something too fast. Look at the lottery winners throughout the United States, if not the world. I believe that almost everyone listening to me today understands that this is almost a 100% fact, almost. It's close enough, so I might as well say 100. Almost every single lottery winner winds up over some time worse off than they ever were before they won the lottery. Why do you think that is? They got the reward before the time. They got the gem before the experience, and that doesn't work. The law must be reversed. I've always told traders, the last thing you want is a win that you did not deserve, because the market is coming back for that. It's not yours. And it's going to not only take what you got unfairly, it's going to take more just because you broke the law. These lottery winners are breaking the law of time, breaking the law of experience. They're breaking the law of speed. They're accentuating speed at a great expense for true worth, true value, true deserving. And they're speeding up the reward by saying, I get the reward. I don't have to work, which takes time. I get the reward before this time-based work, and the price that they pay is often detrimental. All right, we see this with child actors in the world. Very, very successful child actors that make millions of dollars a film, they usually wind up in terrible straits statistically. Not saying 100%, because nothing is 100% in life, but for the most part, yes. Destroyed later in life, and a wreck the rest of their lives. A wreck. They got the reward too fast. Do you understand? All right. The examples are just all around us, and we focus on trying to get something so fast. We've lost the deep knowledge that fast can be taken too far, and speed often comes at great cost later. All right. So whenever you're pressing for something fast, I believe that what I encourage my children always, and what I encourage my traders to do, is to understand that every good thing comes with time. And if you get a good thing without time, it's probably not a good thing, ultimately. All right? Now, let's bring this sort of somewhat esoteric topic of time, space, and speed. Let's bring it to money. You see, money, no matter what they say, makes the world go round, and it should, because money is the symbol of the life that you have given. Money is literally the symbol of your life. You give another man 40 hours of work a week in exchange for that time, which is pregnant. Your time is pregnant with all of your experience. That's that word again. Your time is pregnant, infused with all the years of your experience, all the years of your training, all the years of your education. It's all of your wisdom, all of your knowledge, all of your information. Time is actually who you are, and all that you have become is inside of your time. You give this, which is your life, you give it to another man. You give your life to another man, and in exchange for this, this other man gives you some digits called money. These digits called money, this is the representation of the very life you've given. It represents all of your information, all of your knowledge, all of your wisdom, all of your skill, all of your education, all of your years on planet Earth is infused in your time. That's how valuable it is. And you give it away in exchange for what? Digits on a screen today. used to be paper bills. Now it's digits. These digits or paper bills, coupons, these digits represent your whole life. So why should not money make the world go round? Why should it not be the most paramount thing or one of the most paramount things? It's your very life. And this is why we are so psychologically tied to money and emotional about money. It is why it's one of the three top reasons for divorce throughout the world. Bad relationships throughout the world. Why? Because we're fighting over and dealing with our very own essence, our very own life, even though consciously we might not be aware of that. And so what represents your very life should become the most important thing. Is what represents everything that you are the US dollar? Is what represents it the Australian dollar? Great Britain's British pound? The UK's British pound? The Canadian dollar? The Mexican peso? The Argentinian peso? The Venezuelan bolivar? The Chinese yuan? The Japanese yen? What is the symbol of your life? These are the symbols of the very life that you've given. They are the symbols of everything that you are. And so choosing your representative for your very life, in my opinion, becomes one of the most important things you have to do, because choose wrong and you waste your life away. Choose a representative for your life that goes down in value every second you hold it. Your life is going down in value every second you hold it. This is the representation of the life that you've given, and the life that you've given is dwindling away. You are the incredible shrinking man if you choose the representative of your life wrong, incorrectly. And I'm here to tell you that every fiat currency represents your life poorly, some more than others, but all of them represent your life poorly. They waste your life away. I digress a little bit. But let's talk about how speed with money is overrated and can actually be detrimental. You see, I don't want my money to be fast. I want it to be secure. I'm going to repeat that. I don't want my money to be fast. I don't want it to be some shuffling, fast, quick, and speedy thing. I want it to be freaking rock solid, like a mighty oak. An oak tree is not fast. A little flimsy tree is fast in the wind, but an oak tree is sturdy. An oak tree is solid. An oak tree, a mighty oak, is unshakable, unmovable. It is secure. The little twig in the wind is fast. I don't want my money, my life. I'd rather my life, which is my money, to be secure versus fast. I don't need my money to be some fast whippersnapper. I need it to be as solid as a freaking mighty oak. I need my money to be secure. I need my money to be safe. I need my life to be secure and safe, not fast. We know that speed, the faster something becomes, the less secure it becomes. Your car is more secure at 35 miles an hour than it is at 200 miles an hour. Do you understand? The faster your car goes, the less secure. the less safe your car becomes. Speed is at the expense of security. Speed is at the expense of safety. And when it comes to money, which we've already established is your life, you do not want speed over security and safety. This is your life we're talking about. This is your time. This is your essence. This is everything that you are, you put into this. And you've had this piece of paper, these digits, or Bitcoin. And the last thing that you need from that is actually speed. The most paramount thing you need is safety. I need to ensure that no human being can touch my life. I need to be sure that no one on earth can steal my life, can confiscate it, can stop it, can hack it, can halt it, can debase it, or inflate it away. So where do I put it to acquire that? None of that has anything to do with speed. I know that if I go for speed, I lower all of these things. I increase, speed will increase the ability, will increase instability. Speed will increase insecurity. Speed will also require a breakdown in decentralization. In the crapto space, there are three things that are at stake here. Three things. This is called the trilemma, I believe it is, right? Three things. I want you to understand these three things. You have speed, you have stability and security. Let's put those together. And you have decentralization. Now, you can only choose two. You can never have three, ever. So speed, security, and stability, and decentralization, which means that there's no CEO, there's no office, there's no point that I can point to. There is Bitcoin. Where is Bitcoin? It's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Where is the office? Where is the CEO? Where do I send a Wells letter to? Where I want to sue Bitcoin, where do my lawyers send the documents to? Bitcoin is nowhere and everywhere at the same time. In fact, Bitcoin is all in our minds. It's ethereal. There is no place to point to. There's no coordinates on Google Maps to go to Bitcoin. It's like the air. It's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. That's full decentralization. You can't touch it. You can't see it. You can't feel it. You can't taste it. You can't go to it, but you know it's there. It's like love, right? All the things that we value in life are this way. The things that we cherish the most can't be looked at, can't be touched, can't be felt, can't be seen, can't be tasted. All of the things. Love is that way. Honesty, justice, decency, cleanliness, fairness. We die. Honesty, loyalty. We die for these things that we can't see, touch, feel, taste, hear, or point to, or go to, but we do know they exist. And so when it comes to these three things, if I have a choice, speed, stability and security, and full decentralization. I don't want someone to be able to point to it, to go to it and take it. If you can't point to something, you can't take it. If you can't go to something, you can't confiscate it, right? So I want it to be like love. Try to steal my love from me. You can't. It lives in a different realm. So speed, security, stability, and decentralization. I need the decentralization. I need the stability and security. I don't need wobbliness. I don't need hackable. I need unhackable. Stability, solid, secure, unhackable, decentralized. You can't take it. You can't steal it. You can't stop it. You can't halt it. You can't confiscate it. You can't inflate it away. You can't deflate it away. So I need these two things. I can sacrifice speed. Because if I take speed, I'm going to have to remove decentralization or security and stability. And speed is far lower on the totem pole than the other two. So anytime you hear of a cryptocurrency having chosen speed first, Solana, even Ethereum, this and that, we're faster. I can buy my hamburger 2.2 seconds faster than you. So my crypto blockchain is better than yours. My fries were bought 0.1 second faster, Oliver, than yours. Really? That's it? You can buy a hamburger like 1/10 of a second faster? That's what you're bragging about? Listen, I don't need a faster way to give my money to someone else. Do you understand? Think about what's being bragged about here. We have created a faster way for you to get rid of your money, to give it to someone else. That's good. Really? That's your talking point. You're creating a faster way for me to get rid of my wealth. Really? Please don't do that. Don't do that. I'd rather it be rather difficult for me to give away my life to someone else. It might me think 2 or 3 or 4 times more. Don't do that. I tell traders all the time this. You know, I hear novice traders all the time. Oh, my executions in the market are slow. Dude, I tell them all the time, these losing traders, they lose every day. And they lose and they think they lose. Oh, my executions are too slow. I missed that trade. I missed that trade. And I tell them all the time, dude, you're probably still alive because your executions are slow. You're a loser. If you get faster executions, all you're going to do is lose faster. The speed does not make you who you are not. So you are a loser. Adding speed to a loser means the loser loses faster. Right? So this idea that, oh, this blockchain is better because it's faster is bullshit. Do you understand? I had to put the emphasis on that. It's freaking ridiculous. I want decentralization, safety, and security. Stability and security. That's it. I don't need my money doing backflips, front flips, cartwheels, doing all kinds of trips and zipping here and zipping there and zipping up there and zipping down there. I don't need my money to be a freaking acrobat. I don't need it to be speedy. I need it to be solid as a rock. I need it to be secure. I need it to be safe. I need it to be stable. I need it to be untouchable, unhackable, untakeable. That's it. Now, with that being said, we are not talking about zero speed. We're just talking about accentuating speed over and beyond the other two things. That's nonsense. We don't want that with our life. Do you understand? Remember, the measured man is not speedy. I had this idea once to write a book. I have 5 books, international bestsellers, 5 different languages, actually. All books in 5 different languages. That's neither here nor there. I had this idea that I went to my publisher with one time. This is back in the late 1990s. I was just about to finish my first book. And this idea came up with, and I ran it across my publisher who was about to publish the first book that I wrote. This publisher, McGraw-Hill, by the way, one of the biggest publishers in the world, McGraw-Hill had been trying to get me to write a book for 10 years, almost 10 years, a little bit less, but almost 10 years at that point. And I just kept putting it off. Anyway, when I finally gave in and decided to, okay, I'll write a book, it dawned on me that this was the right time to launch the book. And my procrastination worked. And so I procrastinated for a decade. And because of that procrastination, it worked out for me. My book came into existence at the perfect time in the industry, the perfect time as far as the internet, because before there was no internet, the perfect time because Amazon started to become a thing, the perfect time because my popularity was at its absolute peak in the industry. It was God sent. And so I started to ponder this and realize procrastination worked. And so I came up with this idea, brushed it across my publisher, who said, yes, let's do that. And I was going to write a book entitled Procrastinate and Win. Procrastinate and Win. He absolutely loved it, my representative at McGraw-Hill. In fact, they gave me a signing bonus to write the book, and I never wrote it. But they let me keep the bonus. Procrastinate and win. See, there you go. I'm still procrastinating on that book, and I still have, but I have the bonus. I told you, procrastinate and win. The point is that the measured man procrastinates in a way. That word might be too strong of a word, but it's measured. The actions are measured. There's time between actions. This measured man is not flippant. It's not speedy. It's not unstable, not shifty. Everything is measured. Now, what does that make you think of? This measured way. Tick, tock. Next block. Boom. 10 minutes later. Boom. Very measured. Boom. That's how I want my money. I want my money measured in a way where we can guarantee that there is enough time for me and everyone else on planet Earth to verify that this transaction is real. I don't want there to ever have to be a question. I don't want there to ever have to be a doubt, because if I speed that time up, then it's like there's not enough time for the entire world to verify. You see, Bitcoin is something so unique in our experience as representation of our time, our worth, our life, our money. In order for it to be truth, in order for it to be authentic, it needs to be verified and verifiable by every single person in the world. But what needs to be verifiable? Each transaction. So Bitcoin creates time the same way we as human beings create time. Transaction or block of transactions to the next block of transactions. Space between the two blocks, 10 minutes. Now, I'm going to get a bit more philosophical on you about this. With this, but it's going to be worth it. So I apologize for being waxing philosophical, but it's necessary here. I don't exactly know why Satoshi Nakamoto chose 10 minutes on average between every block. But what I do know is that 10 minutes is a measurement of time, creates time or brings time into existence. 2 blocks create 10 minutes of time. This 10-minute window is still in the realm of certainty. 10-minute certainty. Let me explain what I mean philosophically. You see, remember I told you that time is the measurement between 2 things. The further they're apart, in reality, the more disconnected they can be in a way. So let me just put it this way. It's difficult, but let me try it. Let me try it this way. Smoke on this. For whatever reason, Providence is not given, we have not been given by Providence the ability to be certain and know the future. We just haven't. This is not the domain of the human species. For whatever reason, we have only been given certainty within a certain window. So I can't tell you where I'm going to be on this very day, the 18th of September, 10 years from now. So September 18th, on this very hour, this very minute, 10 years from now, if I were to try to guess that, I'd probably be wrong 100% of the time. Now let's shrink it. If you were to say, okay, 10 years, not 10 years, what about 10 months? 10 months from today, this hour, 10 months from now, this very hour, this very minute, this very second, can I guess where I'm going to be? Well, probably still not with a great degree of frequency, consistency, but a lot better than 10 years, because I might on that day have a wedding planned. Boom, got it. I'm going to be at such and such's wedding. Maybe, but still my accuracy is going to suck guessing where I'm going to be 10 months from now, this very hour, this very day, this very minute. But what about 10 minutes from now? Think about this, people. If I were to ask you, where are you going to be 10 minutes from now? I guarantee you get that right 100% of the time in your entire life. That it doesn't matter whether you're in bed, I ask you, where are you going to be 10 minutes from now? You will know. It doesn't matter whether you're playing softball with your kid. If I ask you, where are you going to be 10 minutes from now, you're going to know. If you're at work and I ask you 10 minutes from now, you're going to know. If you're listening to an Oliver Velez live session and I ask you right now, where are you going to be 10 minutes from now, you're going to get this right 100% of the time. 10 minutes is the increment of certainty. And what if we, like Bitcoin, could live our life and measure our life 10 minutes at a time? We would live a life of certainty. We would live a life of exactitude. We would live a life without fear, and uncertainty is another word for fear. Without uncertainty, because there's certainty inside of 10 minutes. We would live a life of certainty, which means that we would live a life devoid of fear. We would live a life devoid of not knowing, which is the stuff out of which fear grows, the unknown. We would live a continuous life of absolute certainty, absolutely knowing 10 minutes at a time. This is so incredibly special if you really get it the right way and you really realize that Bitcoin has created its own time, but its time is rooted in certainty. Do you understand? Now, you can take every good thing too far. And if you shrink the time too fast, you begin to lose things. 10 minutes seems to be that perfect increment where we retain certainty, absolutism. We retain it without going too far where we start to break down things. It can become so fast that the instability creeps in, the insecurity creeps in, and the lack of decentralization, because you need enough time for everyone in the world to be able to verify. And you can't do that in seconds. It's impossible. You break the laws of the speed of light. You can't do it. All right? It's not possible for every human being on earth to verify the block inside of seconds. So this, in all of Satoshi Nakamoto's wisdom, he seems to have come up with the fastest before breakdown. Fastest to be sufficiently secure, stable, and decentralized, but not fast enough to break down stability, security, decentralization. Fast enough, yet slow enough to retain absolute certainty. Bitcoin has brought certainty to our lives. And it has propped up or come into existence in our lives to be the ultimate arbiter of truth. You see, as I'm a history buff, and in my lifelong journey through history, I've increasingly become aware of the fact that the items you rely on to piece history together, these items are very unreliable. You know, this book was written by this history book was written by this individual because he had this incentive to do so. And this conflicting history story is a completely different history of the same thing. They're diabolically opposed to each other. It's the history of the same thing, but this writer or this teller of the event had certain incentives to write it that way. And so you start to realize that history really isn't truth at all. You're looking at the interpretations or the versions, the very tainted versions of people who were in power to actually disseminate that version of the story. And so we can't really know the truth. It is not possible. It is not possible to truly know history because of this. Until now. As of January 9th, well, January 3rd in a way, the Genesis block, but January 9th started the time chain. Every 10 minutes or so. Bitcoin has become the true arbiter, the history writer of everything that matters. You see, the only thing that matters from an historical point of view is the interactions between human beings. What else is history other than human beings interacting with each other? If you take human beings away and they're no longer to interact with each other, you have nothing. History is literally the ledger of all transactions between all human beings, whether that transaction was war, this and that, whatever it was. It's still a human transaction with another human being. And Bitcoin's sole purpose is as a decentralized, uncensorable recorder of human history, human interactions. Every transaction in the human species will be ultimately recorded on Bitcoin's time chain. And it will remove this uncertainty regarding history. It'll remove the inaccuracies from human interaction in every single act of a human being, every single transaction, every single exchange that a human being ever makes will be recorded forever. And this record is immutable, can never be changed, altered, watered down in any way, eliminated, deleted, never. And so when you look at Bitcoin through this lens, guys, you start to realize that price, the US dollar's price for Bitcoin, is in a way the least important thing. You see, security, safety, stability, decentralization, that price is not part of that. So you start to realize, why am I regarding the importance of this miraculous thing in my life, in our lives now? Why am I taking the opinion of the weaker thing as the most important thing about this? You see, the USD dollar price of Bitcoin is the dollar's opinion of what Bitcoin is. I don't fucking care what the opinion of the weak is. When you look at, for instance, let me see if I can find this, guys. I want to show you something. If we look at the Turkish lira, the Bitcoin priced in the Turkish lira, is this it? What is that? Let me see if I can get this for you. This is crazy, guys. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Turkish lira. All right. Take a look at this. I'm going to show you something. Smoke on this. All right. All right. Let's do this. Okay. Let me do this here. I got you. Coming up. I promise. Coming up here. I freaking love this, man. All right. Let's do it. All right. Let's go. So take a look at this. What I'm showing you here is the Turkish lira priced in Bitcoin, which means that if you are a Turkish citizen and you are holding the Turkish lira instead of Bitcoin, this is what your life is experiencing. That is your life going down the drain. That is you becoming poorer and poorer and poorer. That is you having to work harder and harder for the same stuff until you die. And this trend will continue to trend towards zero forever. This is the Turkish lira priced in Bitcoin. Now check this out. Let's flip it. Let's look at Bitcoin through the eyes let's look at Bitcoin through the Turkish lira. So we're looking at the Turkish lira through Bitcoin. Now let's look at Bitcoin through the Turkish lira. All right. So we will do sats. See, give me a second here. We will do sats USD / TRY. Right. Boom. And here is what Bitcoin is doing through the eyes of the Turkish lira. Okay? Do you understand that? Now, so while in the US, in US terms, right? In the US dollar terms, we are still about here. See the difference? Where is that in Turkey, it's already made all-time new highs. But in USD, which tells you the Turkish lira is weaker than the dollar, but the dollar usually follows last. Okay, because the dollar leaks less value than the Turkish lira. So of course, the Turkish lira makes an all-time new high, and then the next weakest one, the next weakest one, the one that's a little bit less weak, makes it later, and then the little one less weak, and the dollar is usually last on the list, but they all go, all of them. You understand? So Indonesia says hi. Hi, Indonesia. Guys, we can start now. I know we've been going for like an hour now, but this is just a warm-up. We can start. Indonesia's here. We've been waiting for you, Indonesia. I'm teasing you. Teasing you. All right. Okay. Do you think BlackRock is working with Coinbase for paper Bitcoin? You are obviously not following me on X. I did an entire thread yesterday on this very first thing. If you aren't, get over there, guys. Get over there. OL Velez 007, get over there. Read my various threads on Bitcoin, if you will. But I addressed this there, so I'm not going to take time doing that. It's a very thorough post on this. The short answer is no. Okay? No. All right. Once again, in life, things can change in 10 minutes. So I would say we would be 99% right, not 100% right. Yeah, I would say, but that's close enough. All right. Let's allow some rounding errors here, because we know it should go without being said that, one can't have 100%, but we can round there. 99.8%, that's 100%. Dude, come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's not quibble here. All right. Uh-oh. Did we get a 1.5% cut? Let's see. This is on purpose, me doing this at the rate cut time, but let's see, guys. I sort of expected weakness here. I'm getting a little pop here. I was hoping for some weakness, but here's the pop there. It'll come back in, guys. It should come back in, I'm hoping. All right. Okay. So, guys, what's the main crux of my talk here today? Stop overrating speed. Not just with Bitcoin's transactions and the time chain and this and that. Just stop it in almost all areas of your life. You can take, while speed is not natively bad, you can take speed too far to where what you're the expense or the cost for that speed, the trade-off is just be too large, too big, too detrimental to more important things. And I believe that in all Satoshi Nakamoto's wisdom, he picked the perfect speed. Now, the last thing I will say about this, guys, I told you to come back in. The last thing I will say about this, told you we'd come back in, guys, is this. I think this is important. It's the last part, and I'll let you go. Okay. The last thing I will say about this is that, shoot, I lost my thought. I'll get it back. Oh yes, money, guys, money is a layered system. And I believe, I'm actually surprised, but I believe still, I'm surprised at how many people continue to miss this, that money is always layered. Money is a layered system. It is not a one layer system. If you are to have a sound money, it needs to be layered. But all money has traditionally been layered. And so let me explain what a layered money system is. I've done this before, but repetition is going to be valuable in this case. Check this out. You have, some of you have life savings somewhere very secure that this is not to spend tomorrow. This is not to utilize next year, or maybe not even the next 10 years. This is for my ultimate savings for way down the line. This is my wealth. So we call that layer your wealth, your life's work. Do you understand? Not what you're going to spend on milk and eggs. That's a different layer. The first layer is your very wealth. This doesn't move. This is something, hopefully, if you're approaching it right, you just add to. It doesn't move very much. It's not supposed to be fast. It's not supposed to have another job other than being safe, secure, and hopefully decentralized. That's base layer money, base layer wealth. That's the first layer. The second layer is something in your life like your checking account. It might even be a money market account or what have you, but it is not your life there. It is not your wealth there, but it is a layer that has something. Now, this layer is used for paying big things. We got a vacation coming up in the next 2 months, paying that in advance. I've got my mortgage payment coming up in 3 weeks. I'm going to pay from that. That's another layer. That is not your wealth layer. That is a layer on top of your wealth layer. Now, that's your money market checking account layer that sits on top of your wealth layer, your base layer, layer one. Now, layer two, money market checking, let's say. Now, let's say your next layer is credit cards. All right? That's a different layer. You know, I'm browsing in a store and I don't know, man, for some reason I like this t-shirt. I'm going to pick it up. Boom, credit card. You understand? Go out to a meal. Most people don't write a check today. Go out to a meal, a dinner with friends, you pay with your credit card. That's a third layer. Okay? You might have 35, 55, let's say you have $55 in your jean pocket. Just because you might, wherever you go, you're going to valet and maybe tip the valet. but just some change in your pocket, in your jeans pocket. That's a fourth layer. Money is a layered system. You don't treat the money in your jeans pocket the same way you treat layer one wealth. Now, what's the fastest? Jean money, money in my pocket. What's the second fastest? Credit cards. What's the third fastest? Writing a check or something. And what's the least fast? The one that you don't want fast. Your base layer value, your wealth, your life. I want that slow. I want it secure. I want it safe. I can sacrifice some safety and security with the $55 in my jeans pocket. I have been pickpocketed before. I have. In Europe, I have been pickpocketed in Europe before. All right. Did it in my life? No. But if my Bitcoin was hacked or pickpocketed, that would end my life. Do you understand? We don't. So I can sacrifice some security and I can sacrifice some security with the money in my jeans pocket because it's not life threatening. All right, it's not, doesn't feel good. It's not cool if I lose $55, but all right. It's not the end of the world either, right? So understand that you don't want your base layer of wealth fast. And anyone who's claiming this is a bozo. Do you understand? Well, Bitcoin is slow. Bozo. But Oliver, you know, I can buy something faster with this blockchain. Bozo. They don't understand what money is. They don't understand that money is a layered system. They don't understand anything about the trilemma, the three-way dilemma: speed, safety, security, decentralization. And when you have speed, you sacrifice the other two. They understand nothing about that. I just don't want you to be a bozo. And I hope that my talk here today with you has helped you to realize that, to help you to be less of a bozo in this area regarding speed. Good things, solid things, secure things, people, are not speedy. You got it? Did you pick up what I laid down today? I know we're operating on a little bit of a delay. It's going to take me a delay. Yes? All right. Thankful for Oliver Velez. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys. Oh, that's crazy. In my country, one Bitcoin is 1.2 million Rand at the moment. Whew. Unreal. It's a 50 basis point cut, confirmed. All right. Interesting. Now, guys, let me just warn you here. I want to warn you, okay, before I leave. Interest rate cuts typically initially, well, they can lead to lower prices. You understand? So there are a couple things I want to say about this, and I'll let you go. Historically, there have been many times where the start of an interest rate cut cycle actually leads to lower prices at first. And it is not until later that prices go up. Now, the reason for this historically is because the interest rate cut is a signal to the world, the sophisticated money world, that something's broken, something's wrong. They're coming to the rescue. So I'm going to safety. Markets drop. Okay? That is often when recession is a great threat. I believe that what they've done is, in this case, they have really artfully camouflaged in a recession, which we've all been in, as far as I'm concerned, right? So this recession has been camouflaged so well that the general notion is that it's not recession-based interest rate cut, so soft landing interest rate cut. And historically, when the view has been a soft landing interest rate cut, asset prices have run initially. Now, in both scenarios, they ultimately run, and they run big. The question is, do they run right away, soft landing cut, or do they run after a drop first and several other cuts lift the markets out of the drop? So I just wanted to make you aware. All of my traders understand this, or most of my traders understand this. We go over these things. But for those of you who are generally my followers, that's what I want you to be aware of with this interest rate cut thing. All right. The last thing I want you to be aware of is the fact that it doesn't matter for Bitcoin which one it is. Bitcoin is up and to the right, no matter who gets elected, no matter which party is in power, no matter interest rate cut 25 basis points, 50 basis points, 75 basis point, or no cut at all, doesn't matter. Do you understand? Bitcoin is totally outside of this clown-based system. It doesn't operate by those things. In a very short term, yes, but over time, it doesn't. It's on its own time. It's in its own world. It is not connected or driven in any way by all of this nonsense. It may appear this way in the little micro moments, but when you step back, you see it's just on its own clock. 3 years up, 1 year down. 3 years up, 1 year down. Doesn't matter if it's Democrats in office, Republicans in office, whether you have low interest rate environment, high interest rate environment. When you step back, you realize Bitcoin doesn't freaking care because it's not connected to the system. So try to resist being pulled into that Bitcoin needs this. Bitcoin needs institutional adoption to go higher. In what worlds? It became the best performing asset on planet Earth with zero institutional adoption. So now it needs institutional adoption. Oh, Bitcoin needs a low interest rate environment to survive. Well, we were in the highest interest rate environment in decades, and Bitcoin reached an all-time new high. And none of this matters. Oh, well, Bitcoin will thrive better under a Republican presidency. In what worlds? Bitcoin spent a good portion of his life under Democratic rule and became the best performing asset on planet Earth. I mean, none of this ever matters when you step back. At the end of the day, Bitcoin produces a new block on average every 10 minutes. Nothing on Earth can stop that. Every 2016 blocks, Bitcoin has a difficulty rate adjustment. Nothing on planet Earth can change that. No matter who's in office, no matter what the Fed's doing, no matter what is happening in the world, nothing is going to stop that. Every 4 years on average, Bitcoin has its halving. Nothing on planet Earth can stop that. Nothing influences it. What is being influenced is the US dollar, but Bitcoin is as stable as they come. Don't get that twisted. Don't get the US dollar's fanaticism. The US dollar is the one that's frenetic. You understand? It's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is as stable as they come. Don't get those two mixed up. They are not the same. TikTok next block is not the same as the US dollar doing backflips because it's confused. I'm confused. Is Bitcoin valued here? Is Bitcoin valued there? I don't know. I think it's 72,000. Now I think it's 60,000. I thought last week it was 56,000. Now I think it's 60,000. Like, that's the US dollar's lunacy. Ignore that and just bank on Bitcoin's unchangeability, absolute reliability, and let the dollar figure it out, which it always does every 4 years. All right, guys, ciao for now. Boom, boom. Ciao. Enjoy your, whoa, I didn't realize I could do that. That's pretty cool. All right. Ciao for now, guys.
My name is Oliver Velez, and I am your 13%er Bitcoiner. Be safe out there, and until next time. Boom!